What do you think the nature of the Pakistani response would be, given that the attacks by India were publicly visible to the Pakistani population with 100% success rate? They would be under some pressure to respond, or the army's aura of invincibility they have in Pakistan would be threatened. Do you really think they'd try and hit Indian military installations? And if so, what would India do, in my opinion? Yeah, so the question is, how far can this go? We're not discussing the nuclear matter here. We already discussed that in the last question. So, what can the Pakistani response be? Either they hit Indian military installations, which is difficult, or they hit Indian civilian areas, which is much easier because it's impossible for any military in the world to defend every inch of its territory. So it's very easy to hit Indian civilian areas. Of course, if you use missiles, then we can take them out with our air defense systems and so on, S-400, but we don't have S-400s everywhere. So they could try and hit Indian civilian targets, which could be pretty bad if that happens, right? Then they can try terror attacks, and they can try activating sleeper cells that they may or may not have within India. And they could try something like they tried during the Mumbai attacks. These are scenarios that we should be aware of, right? These things could happen. It's a terrorist nation we're talking about. They can try anything. So that's another thing they could try. So the question is, if they do such things, what can India do in response, in my opinion? Well, if they're going to do something, we're going to do it twice as hard. If they hit, let's say, an Indian city, okay, if one of their missiles goes through and hits an Indian city, and unfortunately people, there are casualties, let's say civilian casualties, what will India do? We obviously won't hit a Pakistani city. We don't do such things. But we're going to take out some big military installations, and we're going to give them real pain. Not the people, but the military. So that's something that could happen. If push comes to shove, then what's the worst thing that could happen? The worst thing is that India, makes a move on Pakistani territory. What I have spoken about before, a scenario that I call the pulse pause war. So Indian infantry, Indian tanks make a sudden move into Pakistan, not a blitzkrieg move, which is punching a hole, but a wide frontal move. And you take a decent amount of Pakistani territory, move 10, 20, 30, maybe 50 kilometers into Pakistani territory. You grab the territory, then you unilaterally declare a pause. That's it. We're going to stop here. So it's not life-threatening for Pakistan. It's not like the whole nation is going to be overrun. It's just that we have delivered a military and political defeat to you. And don't do this again, because next time will be worse. So that's what I think could happen. Now, I am not giving some special gyan to Pakistan and divulging military secrets. I am speculating here. And these are scenarios that every military leader, every military expert will work through. This and 100 other scenarios. Okay. So that's something that could happen. And the Pakistanis militarily are no match for India. So we would succeed in this. And that's the scenario in which you talk about, that everybody wants to talk about, taking back POK or whatever. That would happen. We would take back Muzaffarabad or Lahore. Probably not Lahore, because there's too many people there and we don't want to deal with them. But we would take territory for sure. So that would be a clear defeat for Pakistan, military and political, and that's what we would do. So that's, I think, as far as it will go right now. And our objective is to essentially end the legitimacy of the Pakistani ISI military terrorist entity, which is seen by the Pakistani people as being the legitimate rulers of Pakistan. So we need to show to the people of Pakistan that this is an illegitimate organization, and the one claim that they have that makes them which gives them legitimacy, that we can defend against India, even that is hollow. That's what we have to show to the people of Pakistan. And then what should happen is that Sindhu Desh should declare independence, Balochistan should declare independence, Kashmir should say that POK should say we want to go back to India, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa should open the border with Afghanistan. That's what needs to happen. That's the eventual objective.